I found myself in the other part of the post. I do tend to think it enhances the pleasure I get from making videos, strangely enough. So I just have to find a place to do that. I'm gonna move. I just came here to take a piss, so let's go back here. Oh, I think one of my pockets is open. I'm gonna make sure it's on top of that, because I will lose important things if I don't. Oh, the air is amazing. I had a roommate. A lot of my stories and what I would call my clinical studies involved roommates. And they didn't start off as clinical studies, but if you ever found yourself to be observant enough of certain things, I think you could legitimately reflect upon things clinical purpose if it served no other purpose. It's kind of like trying to find intelligence in very irrational and abnormal circumstances. And this woman was introduced to my life in a certain way. I could tell you the exact moment I ever heard her voice on the telephone and what conclusions I came to immediately that turned out to be entirely accurate about this person. I knew within 15 seconds of listening to her talking on the phone, it wasn't hard since she was calling from a bar, that she was an alcoholic, okay? And the person with whom she was most acquainted was a female who had raped the first father of her first child and so on. It has to be considered in female terms. I don't mean to sound what's the word, facetious or cruel and bitter when I say it. I'm happy to look at things in any way that we're supposed to look at them, okay? In fairness to the safety and like I don't think men should be just going around saying, hey, and this is awful because nobody talks about it. It's a very public, right? And men don't often talk about these things. They rarely do. I think there's millions of men out there who have been raped repeatedly and think they're just okay, and you wonder why your relationships don't work out. Same thing with women. How many women have just not realized that they're being raped and relationships aren't going to work out and it is just going to get worse. And so if you listen to me talk about my experience of being raped, there are men or women who could learn, or gay people, that about their experience of being raped. Not because I know all such and such about it, but to articulate, at all, to try to give words to something which, if nothing else, we must agree is essentially violent, in effect, if not intent. And remember, you don't have to be intentional to do violence to people, right? A guy can get drunk and get into a car and hit the family for all of them. He didn't mean to, but that doesn't mean he's not guilty of it. He didn't doing such a thing to different people, right? So I say, when you're outside, your concern should increasingly be safety every day and every second of every day that you're out there, because the more comfortable you get, the more dangerous it is. Right. I mostly want places that I'm very familiar with. So I always kind of know where I am. I know how to get home, and how to get to the road, and how to do things. Because I'm without, I don't even have a phone out here anymore. So, it's pretty interesting. I haven't really found a place to camera yet, but we could not go across there, but people do sometimes. I'll show you. Animals might. Animals might go across here. I wouldn't. Yeah, see, you can see animal tracks. It's a good place for animals to get over that. For a man, you could do it, if you're understood the impact of snow and grip and little icy patches on the log, maybe full of just a clump of wood or grass or leaves, ended up turning to ice, 1 inch beneath the snow, and you hit on that and a few things about something in that moment, and next thing you know, you're in the icy river, and it's a day. I mean, you can go on, right? Because what the fuck would I do? What the fuck would I do in that moment, eh? You got all the answers? Tell me what I would fucking do in that moment. Right? Now I'm completely soaked. I've lost all my camera equipment. I'm freezing fucking cold. My hands, my feet, my legs, my body. In fact, I'm so cold, I'm just numb. I get out. What do you do? I have no knowledge of what I would do. What should I do? Go make a fire and take my clothes off? Don't go run to the nearest house and bang on the door and say, I need you to make a call and let me get out of these wet clothes immediately and let me take a hot shower. You know, what do you walk home, it's probably going to take you, especially soaking wet, at least 2 hours in -degree weather. You see where this goes? I know where I'm going to go. And that's what I mean. But you don't see those videos on YouTube because it doesn't always turn out so well for those. Right? You don't see the videos on YouTube that don't turn out well. I can't go that way. I realize that I like going down that path, but it's got dangers that I don't want to face in the snow while I'm cold, talking about safety. So you sort of need like a couple sticks and your hands free. Oh, we'll go this way. It's safer. We'll get there sooner. Like, what's keeping that fucking log up? You see what I mean? What the hell is even keeping this thing in the sky? That tree there? One day that's gonna go. It's amazing. I've been there for a long time now. Okay, here we go. Hands are cold. Hands are cold. It's okay, I can deal with my hands. That's a dealable situation. Okay. A little scary section here. I thought I was going to avoid that. We can avoid this here. Well, we didn't. So quiet out here. Oh my goodness. The sound of me going sploosh will not be a good one. Okay. I'm back. You know what? I'm not going to do it. Yeah, this was the very thing I wanted to avoid. That's why I took the other path. So it's okay. I'm just going to tell that path to fuck off. Well, I don't want to fall. I don't have my hands free. It's like, you know, your last gambit is always your hands. Right? That's what you're going to do. You're going to put out your hands and grab onto something. Well, then I'd lose my pen. For one. I'm going to do that. Don't want to fall down. So back here. I'm going to go different direction. Just go on. Okay. Just taking a different route to this place. You know, if my hands were warm, I'd have my hands free. If I had, you know, a stick to poke it down with, all kinds of little things that help you to take your time. So the time becomes a constraint. You don't have to drop tools. And now you're just taking a chance. Okay. So basically, you might as well just jump in the fucking water. Be done with it. You know, it's a very stupid thing. Here. My body's warm, my hands are not. So I'm a little worried about my right hand and my left hand. Here. That's not where I wanted to go either, so just right across here instead. Different direction. There you go. It's a lot harder, isn't it? I'm buying it from this. Doesn't look any humans along here. Why not? You can't get around. There's no tree. The river will get hauled up here. So we'll go with this way. Okay, so the river is frozen over. Usually this ground is dry. I've made a number of videos from this location. I'm just gonna scrape away a little snow and lay this out. Take off my backpack carefully because everything is delicate. Then pull up my jacket. I can hear the breeze. Cool. I'm just gonna put both my hands in my pockets. That's it. Just do that. That's the secret. And wait. Don't put any gloves on. Okay, I made it here. This is good. It's a good picture. It's a good spot. It's secluded, so nobody's gonna come from over there, and I can see very easily if anyone comes over here. So I'm pretty good. Walk like you pretend I'm cutting wood with my testicles. Basically, anything you can think of that's difficult will get like shit you wouldn't normally want to do, or you wouldn't want to be caught doing. Hey, eye of the tiger is the king of the fight. Flex your sphincter till Talia Shire comes on the scene, takes off her glasses and says, "Oh my God, your old cock Rocky is so old and flaccid." Do 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 do. Balboa lifts weights with his head. He's so stupid, yet he's funny. When he really gets stupid, it's 'cause he's made so much fucking money. But then he goes to Russia, fights that really strong man who seems to be fucking his real girlfriend. That's okay, because they share an avid interest in other chemically enhanced diets. Testicles have shrunken. The eyes of the tiger are the biggest thing because his nuts have drank. Okay. I like to Google, what do you do when your nuts are getting smaller? I find that Google is not always there for me because the first 3 hits are just advertisements for Amazon. What has happened to this world? My baby is choking. Go to Amazon Music. Baby, I Want to Choke You. R&B Rap Soul Gangsta by Boney Fuckface. Number 2. Choke Me, Lucky Lucky Fuck Fuck, Filipino Massage Parlor. That's not even in my fucking country, dude. Yes, but they paid the money, and they have a higher ranking on Google than 911 and the Tooth Fairy. Okay, here we go. Call 911, you stupid bastard. That's funny. I'm a funny guy. Like, my hands are red, but they're warm. It's okay, officer. Oh, the geese. So the fairies managed to take me in the direction of the geese, which is the south end of the medicine wheel, and telling me that I'm safe. They are pronouncing my safety in the world. I don't know if you know this, because there's no reason why you would, but I've had tremendous threats to my safety since I was a child. As I expected my parents. My mom, though, in my 40s and 50s, has shown me everything of the nature of violence in my life, and also why I love having a chance to have her in my life now. It's just so amazing. I'm so lucky. Yeah. It may not sound nice, but done the right way, I would say, you know, I have a chance. My mother gave me a chance in a way that maybe she thankfully didn't need to, or we don't always have to do the same things with healing and trauma in the world. Not everybody has to be a bleeding heart and all that, but I think it's important to understand in so much as there's a distribution of labor in the world, there's a distribution of ways of coping with the world. And the world may be something that in such and such a way, a lot of people shouldn't have to cope with it. And especially when you're coping with people's coping systems, which isn't just a fancy way of seeing how people often need to live and to learn to live and to endure living and to make nice and so forth, because one could take the view that human beings are exposed to a lot of difficult circumstances that introduces a lot of variables in your quality of life. And it's wonderful to be able to advance the human quality of life and to respond in a sense the way maybe people hope that you would because they love you. It's quite another thing to then to say, you know, you don't like these type taken, no matter how you may have deluded yourself into thinking. Like the cancer associations of the world say that they have had 80% success rate with chemotherapy. And when independent oncologists from around the world study the same figures, they find 2%. It kind of depends on how you look at it. And we all kind of, at the end of the day, might have to just come down about major things that we'd like to see changed, but that humans are just going to have very different opinions about. It doesn't matter what research you do. Humans, basically, when they decide they don't want to believe something, it doesn't matter what the research says. The same thing, like if you told me, hey, Landon, the research says this, and I didn't want to fuck your research. I noticed that research is an area of my life where I tend to use research when it benefits me, and I don't give a fuck about what it doesn't because it's all malarkey anyway. I really will, I'm in favor of research that supports my point of view, basically. Every drug company in the world supports research that's in benefit of that drug, right? So all of a sudden, though, having a personal interest or bias should run against you because you find research that doesn't support all this other research. And when did we stop being critically minded? You're talking about pumping millions and millions of gallons of deadly chemicals into the bloodstreams and waterways of, by the time you hear this, probably up to 50% of the population of the world as of 1955. And you don't want to have a critical discussion about that? You know? Now, you may not want to have the discussion like it's all useless and they're just trying to kill you, and every scene and thing has just been a deadly, deadly religion that you've managed to find yourself groomed to believe in. Because those parts of your mind aren't supposed to be ones that you think that you're using, thank God, because otherwise, how would you live in the world? The case, rather, so you don't have to make the most hyperbolic argument in a sense, that certain kinds of logistics about delivering medical services to human beings, various intersecting corporate agendas, not a bad word, and the need to control, which exists whether you like it or not, then we have now the proper framework for understanding how humans could do anything that's not good for them and yet feel like it's the best thing in the world to do. Can you name other things like that? Right? How many things have we done that are not good for us, and then eventually we stop doing them? Let's see how that works. It's not, it's okay. I'm going to get cold, so I'm going to have to get going soon, but that's what winters are, getting cold. I'm going to walk home, watch the tobogganers. I'll go into the estuary. Yeah, that doesn't really want to burn at all. Not a happy camper, so I'll just take it off the top. Oh well, we'll work on it. Um, so questions of chemotherapy would have to be entertained in a way that people could suspend disbelief as to how preposterous chemotherapy could unfortunately turn out. In terms of, say, inflated statistics, because people can say things that are essentially true when other rules, like one rule, for instance, is that vaccines can never be the cause of any litigation. So that's just a fact built into the law. They do pay out millions of dollars still for wrongful death. But I don't think a vaccine can be stopped because somebody dies. Now we're talking death here. Now, if you've never lost a loved one, think about that. So humans prepare their whole lives for the unwanted demise of their loved ones. Just like a tree might have to prepare for the fact that the chainsaw may come along one day. Maybe you have 50 years, maybe you have 250 years, maybe you have 650 years, because there ain't any number of years for most of the years of this continent that have prevented the chainsaw from touching the tree. There's so many different things in the Bible that specifically suggest that the ultimate enemy of human beings wants to look in their heart and say, we will dominate them. We will rout them out. We will subdue them. Hello. We will subdue them. Fuck, now my lighters aren't even working properly. No. Doomed. I don't know what it is about the current of air around here, but it's like not lighter. Yeah. Yeah, this joint is. They sometimes do that. Sucks because I'm losing half a joint essentially because it's not smoking anymore. I'm pretty fastidious about how I roll my weed. Statistics. Fear. So religion isn't that the nature of theology and cult psychology is not just the realm of the local church, it's the realm of the entire world around it. Everything's religious. Everything humans do, they do religiously. They watch TV, they follow sports, they follow their political candidate of choice. They might spend weeks of their lives following the various pseudo-sexual exploits of various teenage dilettantes around the world. They may follow Snowboarder Joe as he takes them into a new local forest and employs in showing us various angles of birds in flight that are actually flying around Joe as he slaloms through the Alps of Switzerland. And every exciting of his 30-second video that gets 329 million views in 10 days because he's Snowboard Joe. But just a philosophical treatise from a lonely middle-aged virgin. Not so popular. Go figure. That's the world we live in. Someone like myself, can feel content doing this and not have to worry about comments or popularity. And Snowboard Joe can go off with his top knot and show you how to snowboard and cut down trees at the same time. Like a lightsaber that takes down trees. So the Ewoks don't have to worry about anything. You can also use it to fuck your girlfriend when she puts on 150 pounds and starts detesticalizing you. I learn about a lot about life from video games, but not in a way that you think of like, I don't play them, but I understand their nature. I understand that no matter how hard you work at a video game, you can still lose everything. And as hard as you work at it, the more time you spend, the more the video. And so, just like the casino, the video game always wins. It's taking a huge amount of your time for nothing. I got my hand in my pocket. I got my hand in my pocket. My joint is smoking. I got my hand in my pocket. I got my hand in my pocket. Oh. Birdie's been hanging out here with me. Oh, let's get some coffee in me. I have a latte in here. Okay, here we go. Almond milk latte. I don't dig on milk. I can't drink that shit. I got a hand. Oh yeah. I got my hand in my pocket. I got my grass is wonderful. You can step on it. I haven't hurt myself. I'm so glad I haven't. Okay, let's say we get going. What do you say? Okay. So I've got this, and this. I've got this can. I can put it here, and I'm gonna turn the camera off so that I can put both my hands in my pockets.